What started in 1887 as a vision to provide health care to the citizens of Camden has evolved into the region's leading academic health system. For 135 years, Cooper University Healthcare has been healing the people of this region. There have been many uncertain times over the years, but we've pulled through, and Cooper has remained steadfast in its mission, providing advanced, compassionate healthcare. It started with 30 beds and 8 physicians. Today, Cooper is powering the future of healthcare. We're training the next generation of medical professionals at Cooper Medical School of Rowan University and delivering compassionate primary care, cutting-edge surgical procedures, comprehensive cardiac care, revolutionary neurological services, and advanced cancer care at MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper. We serve as South Jersey's only Level 1 trauma center, and with more than 100 offices and nearly 2 million patient visits each year, we continue to provide you with award-winning care. Now, imagine Cooper growing to include even more doctors, nurses, health professionals in more specialties, more committed than ever before. Imagine the region's leading academic health system on the forefront of medical advancement. Imagine Cooper University Hospital MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper with technology and resources like never before. Do more than imagine. Join us.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kevin O'Dowd, co-CEO here at Cooper University Healthcare. Welcome to our campus. Welcome to Camden, those who are not Camden residents. So, there was a lot of mystery surrounding today's event. When that announcement went out from George's email blast, you're going to have calls from all over the state. What could George, Governor Murphy, Governor Christie be coming together for? What could this big announcement be about? Well, today, that wait is finally over. So let's jump right into our program. Our first speaker today is a person who is tireless in his commitment to the people of Camden. He literally works around the clock. Many of us here today get the 4:30 a.m. texts. We get the emails at 2 in the morning. We're in hours of meeting. The guy has no off switch. I see many of you laughing and smiling because I think you know who I'm talking about, but I won't say his name just yet. He's driven and he's focused every single day on how to make things better for the people of Camden, here at Cooper, and for all of South Jersey. This commitment runs deep within his family. Between him and his father and his brother, their family has served on the Cooper University Healthcare Board of Trustees for more than 50 years. He always thinks big, but more importantly, he makes things happen. He will never take no for an answer. His expectations are clear. Work hard and find the pathway to get it done. Today, he's going to tell you about the next big thing. So ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the chairman, Mr. George Norcross.
Thank you. Thank you and good afternoon. I'm sure you all know he was referring to his former boss, Governor Christie. Those of you that are here that have worked with me over the years, some would say my greatest asset, but yet sometimes my greatest liabilities. I prefer to be a tenacious fighter because in my experience in life, that's about the only way sometimes things are bound to happen. And some of the speakers you're going to hear from today have those same personality traits. That's why they enjoy the success that they have today. I was born a couple hundred yards from here in the Dorrance Pavilion. The reason some of the nurses remember that is because I was the baby screaming, yelling, who wanted his diaper changed and wanted some more food quickly. The Dorrance building was constructed by the founder of the Campbell Soup Company. We are honored today to have the president of the Campbell Soup Company with us, one of the great iconic names in America, who we are blessed to have as their corporate headquarters in the city of Camden, a company that never abandoned this city. Today is a day of celebration, an amazing achievement. Imagine what if. Imagine when Governor Christie took office many years ago, he and others would be thinking that Camden and Cooper, MD Anderson, would be making the kind of announcement we'd be making today. How America's most dangerous and poorest city had turned itself around with the help of hundreds and hundreds of individuals. Today, Cooper announces, probably for the fourth time in its 135-year history, that it will remain in the city of Camden forever. It will never abandon the city. And Cooper and MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper will be spending $2 billion in the next 10 years to redo this campus and to create opportunities for all of those that are cared for here, those who work here, opportunity for those who live and work in the city and care about this institution, which has been here 135 years. Imagine $2 billion, the largest single capital private sector investment in the history of the region and perhaps the state of New Jersey. Not something any of us would have considered or thought about any time in the near future. There are some folks here that will speak later that are largely responsible for where we are today. Governor Christie, when he was governor, took it upon himself to, in effect, adopt the city of Camden. Dana Redd was the mayor at the time and decided they were going to change this city. And many worked together with his administration and those in the cabinet to begin a long process. My brother Donald was a state senator at the time, and he and Governor Christie and others in the administration came up with two amazing pieces of legislation. One called the Renaissance School Urban Hope Act, and the other, the ability to reorganize public safety, unlike anything that's ever been done in America, tripling the number of boots on the street in America's most dangerous city. In 2015, President Barack Obama came to Camden and decided to look for himself and see how community policing and working with the community and the neighbors, like happened in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, where people on every block in the city knew their police officer, knew their firefighter, counted them among their neighbors. These things mattered. In the last 5 years, Governor Murphy has continued that work, continuing to support all of us in the endeavors that have come forward and continue going forward. He has put his money where his mouth is. He has invested hundreds of millions of dollars in the continuance of an American success story, namely the city of Camden. What we announced today is something that will last for decades to come. This vision began some years ago when John Sheridan was our CEO and continued with Chris Olivia, Adrian Kirby, and now today, the two greatest CEOs you'd ever meet on the planet. Virtually everybody who's in business or otherwise would say, you can never have two CEOs. It won't work. One will try to kill the other, and they won't exist. I've never met two people who complement each other better than Kevin O'Dowd and Anthony Mazzarelli. While I'm speaking, I'd like us to present the animation of what we expect this campus to look like over the course of the next number of years. This will be a complete reconstruction of Cooper as we know it and MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper. None of this would be possible without a very strong, independent Board of Trustees who support the management of the institution and add their executive experiences and leadership. And they, along with our great doctors and nurses, the best you can ever have. Cooper has long been known as a great home to doctors and nurses who want their profession to continue in a way, along with teaching as part of the Cooper Medical School, which was a great achievement that this campus came upon a number of years ago. Today's Cooper is the largest system in Camden County, cares for the most number of people, and was the premier COVID South Jersey Recovery Center during the leadership under Governor Murphy that so successfully treated, vaccinated, and cared for hundreds of thousands of the citizens in South Jersey. Governor, we applaud you for all you did during that crisis. A number of years ago, among the few times that I ever visited the governor's office or was invited to the governor's office, Governor Christie and I and the president of MD Anderson Cancer Center were proud to announce that of all places in America, all places, MD Anderson, who I always describe as the greatest cancer institute in the galaxy, decided to plant their largest regional facility in Camden, New Jersey. And much of that was made possible by the support and leadership of Governor Christie. Thank you, Governor. I want to speak for a moment about Camden's commitment to Camden City and this community. This hospital was founded 135 years ago. Most people think it was founded by Dr. Cooper. It was actually founded by his two daughters, who had a novel thought 135 years ago, that all Americans, every American, regardless of their ability to pay, should receive world-class health care. And this institution opened on the basis of caring for any patient, anywhere, and to serve this region. It's amazing how long it took America to get to a place where every American was guaranteed that kind of service. Thankfully, we are here today. We live in a state of New Jersey that under Governor Christie and Murphy has continued to provide world-class health care access for all of its citizens. We are lucky to be in a state like New Jersey. Cooper's commitment to this city has never, ever wavered. I mentioned there were several times in which Cooper contemplated the possibility of leaving Camden and moving. I recall I was a young chap when my dad served on the board, and I remember hearing him discuss that he was vehemently opposed to Cooper leaving the city that he was born in, that my brothers and I were all born in. And there was quite a fight, but thankfully they prevailed. And not only did Cooper remain here then, it remains here now, and it will be the caregiver to the people of the city of Camden and the people of southern New Jersey for as long as we will be in existence. That I promise you. Now, how is this all possible? Spend $2 billion in the city of Camden. During the course of the last number of years, Camden's gone from America's most dangerous and poorest city to a city that has a crime rate the lowest in 50 years. An amazing story. A place where affordable housing is being constructed, new office buildings are being constructed, World-class health care is in our midst, and the finest health care in all of South Jersey and in parts of the state of New Jersey exists right here at this campus. Cooper cares about its community. Cooper is a partner, along with the NAACP and the Latin American Community Organization, in something called Camden Works, which is a training program for every citizen in Camden interested in being trained to find a job, not only in the region, but in any company, public or private, that exists in this city. There is a data bank that exists that shows opportunities and openings. For my friends in the Building Trades Council saying you're going to spend $2 billion, this is welcome news. And I must say, in the last 10 years, the building trades have been a cooperative partner in training Camden residents for trades jobs in building much of the $3.5 billion that's occurred in the last 7 to 8 years in this city. For that, we applaud them for their service and for their thankfulness. Several years ago, some of us formed the Camden Health and Athletic Association. People like Ron Jaworski and Sal Palantonio, who's on our foundation board, and others were instrumental in engaging themselves in creating a Health and Athletic Association, much like I had growing up in Pennsauken, and many of you have in suburban communities, that didn't exist in the city of Camden. Children had no place to play football, basketball, soccer, literally no place. And thanks to the Camden County Board of Commissioners, under the leadership of Jeff Nash, the liaison to Parks, Camden County has spent over $100 million building among the finest parks you will find in the state of New Jersey. For the children of the city and the children of the region, they are now getting what they deserve: world-class parks and recreation for them and their families. Evidence that this city has turned is Standard & Poor's. It would be highly unlikely for anyone to have thought 10 years ago that Standard & Poor's would rate the city of Camden's debt at an A- or anything above junk bond status, which it was at one time. Today, we're proud to say that Wall Street looks at the city of Camden as a very credible, quality risk in moving forward in the reconstruction of their water, their sewer, their roads, beautifying this city to the place it was when my dad was growing up, many of your parents were growing up. The thing that I hear the most about Camden is, George, I remember when I lived here, when I was a little boy, in the 1930s and 40s, and what a vibrant city it was, and how people wished so much that it would return to that. Well, it's returned in a different form. It's not the RCA Corporation anymore. It's not the New York Shipbuilding Corporation. It's now a corridor of education and meds, unprecedented in the state and the region. That's what it's become. That's the opportunities to exist. We are extraordinarily proud of what Cooper and MD Anderson have done in this city over the last decade. But what makes me prouder than anything, is declare Camden City is back. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, George. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Governor Phil Murphy. Now, the governor has become a frequent visitor to Camden, and we always love it when he comes to Camden because he's usually here to announce support for a major program or a new initiative. Not long ago, Governor Murphy came right across the street to announce the rebuilding of the Walter Rand Transportation Center. This new world-class transportation hub will not only continue Camden's amazing growth, it will benefit residents from across the region. We had another visit from Governor Murphy back in July, just after he signed the budget, which included resources and support for Camden, including funding to continue our demolition work and the building of new infrastructure, work on the building of the largest park in the city, and increase police funding to enhance public safety in the community. His support will have a direct and long-lasting impact on the residents of this city and all of South Jersey. And just a few months back, Governor Murphy committed $150 million to Cooper as one of the 3 Level 1 trauma centers. And this funding will be used to build part of this new campus, a new hospital tower right where we are gathering here today. Governor Murphy, we want to thank you for your many $100 million of funding and the commitment that your administration has made to Camden and Cooper throughout those 5 years. We also want to thank you and Health Commissioner Judy Persichilli, who's here today. Commissioner Persichilli, a round of applause. For your unwavering support of Cooper and all health systems throughout the state during the COVID-19 pandemic. We thank you, Governor, for visiting us again today, even though we know that you're not here to announce more funding. And I think that's mainly because I think over the last 5 years, I think we took it all. I don't think there's any funding left for us to take for Camden or for Cooper. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm Cooper and Camden welcome to the 56th Governor of the great state of New Jersey, Governor Phil Murphy.
Thank you. Good to be back. Thank you very, very much. I love coming to Camden. Kevin, thank you for your extraordinarily gracious introduction, your friendship, your partnership. You and Anthony, George said some very nice things about me, and you did about Judy, and I would echo that. But I think she would join me in saying the leadership, not just at Cooper, during the COVID pandemic, but across, as you coordinated the entire response in the southern part of the state, was a huge game changer. So for all those reasons, thank you. I'm incredibly honored to be a part of this historic occasion. Historic not just for Cooper University Healthcare, not just for the city of Camden, not just for South Jersey, but for the entire state. If I may, I'd like to quote one of Camden's most famous sons, the poet Walt Whitman, and he said, "The habit of giving only enhances the desire to give." He likely wrote those words before Cooper Hospital first opened in 1887, but as everyone here can attest, this sentiment can be found throughout the entire Cooper campus. It's found in the doctors and nurses who provide world-class care and treatment to everyone who enters the hospital doors. It is found at the Cooper University School of Medicine, where the next generation of medical professionals is being educated. It's found, as George so eloquently said, at the MD Anderson Cancer Center. And it is found in philanthropic efforts that are leaving an indelible mark on this city and its people and fueling positive change. This historic $2 billion investment will similarly touch all facets of this community. As the Cooper campus shows, a hospital and a medical school are not monolithic buildings in the landscape. They are true engines for Camden's growth. They provide jobs for city residents. They attract investment to this city beyond even that which Cooper makes. They are a mark of excellence on this city's fabric. Just a few years before Cooper Hospital was founded, another of Camden's legacy companies set up shop just a few miles from here. George mentioned it, Campbell's, and it's a real treat that its CEO, Mark Klaus, who's a great leader, is with us today. Campbell's, of course, is a company built on providing healthy foods to millions of consumers. And just a few years after the opening of the hospital doors, Victor, later to be RCA Victor, not to be confused with Victor Vic Karstafen, opened its research and manufacturing facility here in downtown, becoming one of the companies that made New Jersey a cradle of technological innovation. So these twin legacies, health and innovation, built Camden. They are alive still, and they live right here through the Cooper name. As has been noted, This marks Cooper's 135th year of service to the people of Camden and South Jersey. Through these investments, among much more, we can all rest assured that the health and well-being of our residents will be in good hands for the next 135 years. There are a bevy of important people here today, elected officials, past and present. I could name a bunch of them, but I do want to mention my friend Joe Roberts, the former Speaker of the General Assembly. Love you, Joe. Legislators, city and county officials, board members, trustees, doctors, nurses, other healthcare folks, I'm incredibly humbled to be with you. But I do want to give a few people a shout out by name. I don't know where we'd be as a state without the fierce advocacy in Washington of Congressman Donald Norcross right behind me. I'm incredibly honored to be with Governor Chris Christie. Georgia's words were so true about getting so much started here. Governor, it's great to be with you. She's already been mentioned, but the woman who needs no introduction, Judy Persichilli. I love you. The aforementioned Mayor Vic Karstafen. I'm proud, yeah. And last but not least, Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli, who we'll hear from in a moment, Kevin O'Dowd, extraordinary leaders. And this begins at the very top. And I have to give a huge shout out to the chairman, George Norcross, for everything he has done with Cooper over the years and more broadly for Camden and South Jersey. Thank you all for having me.
All right, so I'm a lucky guy today in a bunch of different respects, but I get to introduce two governors. So it's now my pleasure to introduce Governor Chris Christie. Now, despite what you may think, the two governors on the stage here with me today, they have many, many things in common. So let's talk about some of those. They both live in New Jersey. That's in common, right? They're both two-term governors. All right, so maybe you run out of runway pretty quick. Maybe the list isn't as long as I initially thought. But they're both over 21, so phone a friend is working up here. This is great. So we got three. That's more than I thought. So
Kevin, they both don't support the Philadelphia Eagles.
whoa, the chairman drops one noting that they both don't support the Eagles. I have enough experience to never go there, but I will move on based on the looks I just got. But on a serious note, I have had the privilege to work closely with both of these governors, and they both care very deeply about helping other people. And they do have one very important thing in common. As governors, they have both demonstrated tremendous support for the people who live in Camden. And they both didn't just talk about helping Camden, they've acted. As you all know, Governor Christie is unique, never followed anyone else's playbook. But who would have thought, coming through in 2010, a Republican governor from North Jersey would have spent so much of his 8 years crossing the aisle and working in a bipartisan fashion to bring about positive change in the city of Camden. The commitment to Camden became a cornerstone of his administration, and I was proud to be a part of it. From establishing programs to create jobs and a new tax base in the city, to enacting legislation to allow people of this city to overhaul their public education system, to allow the residents of Camden to remake the police department with closer ties to the community. His administration cleared barriers that allowed Camden residents and business owners to fuel the city's comeback. Governor, we are grateful for your steadfast support of both Camden and Cooper throughout your time in office and the many years that have followed. Camden has no better friend than you. Ladies and gentlemen, give a warm welcome to the 55th governor of the great state of New Jersey, Governor Chris Christie.
Thank you all very much. Can't believe Kevin couldn't come up with more than 3 things that Phil and I have in common. We both married over our heads. That's 4. Right, for sure. And I'll come up with a few more as we go through our remarks. I want to thank Kevin not only for his introduction, but what he neglected to mention is that we had the opportunity to work together for over a decade between our time together at the U.S. Attorney's Office, his time as my Deputy Chief Counsel, and then as my Chief of Staff. And I can tell you that in politics, you know the old saying, if you want a friend, buy a dog, but that would not apply to Kevin O'Dowd, an extraordinary friend and now a great leader for this hospital. Thanks for the introduction and for all the help, Kevin, over the years. Now, I've heard a number of comments, both from George, now from Kevin, about how they were surprised, perhaps that I decided as a longtime native of North Jersey and a new governor on the Republican side of the aisle to decide to come to Camden and to make Camden one of the centerpieces of the 8 years that I was privileged to serve as governor. For anybody who had watched me before I became governor, you wouldn't have been surprised. Because when I was U.S. Attorney, that's when Camden was named the most dangerous city in America. That's when law enforcement in this city was not doing its job. That's when the people of this community were being horribly served. And it was then, as U.S. Attorney, that I helped with a lot of other folks to put together a federal law enforcement task force that worked here in Camden to begin the long process that brought down the crime rate. And the reason I did is because we had an office here in Camden when I was U.S. Attorney. And I remember coming down here for my very first visit as U.S. Attorney in 2002. And I stayed in the office meeting all the various lawyers until about 7:30 that night. And as U.S. Attorney, unlike the governor and I, as we travel around and have security with us all the time, as U.S. Attorney, you don't have any security at all. You walk around all by yourself, and I drove down here that day by myself and intended to drive back up home by myself. But as I walked out of the office, there were two United States Marshals, Deputy U.S. Marshals, standing outside the office. So I shook hands with both of them and thanked them for their service, and I went to walk, and they walked with me. And I said, what do you, guys, I'm just going to my car and going home. And they said to me, there's absolutely no way, sir, that we would let you walk the block and a half to your car by yourself at 7:30 at night in Camden. There is no reason, and I felt that way at that moment, and I felt that way every day since. There's no reason for the people who live and raise their families here and work here to ever have to have somebody walk them around the city in order to feel safe. And so no one should feel surprised that with that being my introduction to the city of Camden in 2002, that for the next 16 years, I made it at least part of my business to make sure that the people in this city started first and foremost to feel safe in their homes, in their places of work, in their places of worship, and on the streets. If we can't provide that as a government, then we have fundamentally failed our people, and failure was not an option for me. Every other investment we made here flowed from that, from the idea that we start first with public safety, with the idea that everybody here had a fundamental right to be able to live their lives the way they chose in safety and security for themselves and for their families. From there, each and every person in this city had the right to an education that would give them an opportunity to rise to the greatest level that their God-given talents would permit them to do. And so we worked very hard, as George mentioned, on remaking the school system. And there's lots of people I see in this audience today who took a chance that we meant what we said when we said we would remake the school system and partnered with us. Bipartisanship flowed both ways. It didn't just come from the Republican governor. It came from all the Democrats in this city who took a chance on me. And I think the greatest monument to all this is not just the increasing test scores and the increase of all the kids here in Camden who are now going to some of the best colleges and universities in our country. It is the new Camden High School. that for me will be always a monument to the bipartisan commitment we made together to make sure that these children not only had first-class teachers, but a first-class facility to make them know just how worthwhile we think they are. I love that new high school. And then the mayor and I took about the idea of economic growth in this city. And I can't count how many times Dana Red said to me, Camden is a city that is rising, even when there was lots of evidence to the contrary for both of us and lots of naysayers. But it was because of her leadership and the leadership of lots of other people in this room that we've created an atmosphere now in this city that allows people to believe that they can not only live here, but they can work here, and they can prosper here, and they can pass generational wealth onto their children, not pass on to them the disappointment and the heartache of unemployment and poverty. These are the cornerstones of what every human being in this state deserves. And so public safety and education and economic growth were the things as governor that I could do, and the things that Governor Murphy has now continued to do for this city. And the results are all around you. So this $2 billion investment is not just because George demanded that it be done, although that was about 75% of it. It's also because, as he said, people from every industry now look at this city as a place where it makes sense to invest. You know, I don't expect anybody, except for those in the Cooper Foundation and those who support it, to be doing what they're doing in Camden for charitable purposes. Camden becomes the great city again that it once was because people also feel they can come here and prosper and make money and have our capitalist system work to reward their great ideas and their hard work and their confidence in their fellow citizens. And we see that happening every day. And this $2 billion investment is just the largest and best example of what we see happening here that we could not have pictured. When I walked down that street outside the federal courthouse in 2002, I see Judge Kugler out there, who I spent a lot of time with in that courthouse down here, and he knows exactly what I mean by being a native of this area and someone who spent time in law enforcement and as a judge here. It's unimaginable in 2002 that that could have happened, but what it should tell all of us is that anything is possible if we're willing to put aside the petty things that divide folks in public life these days, and remember that being a public servant is about serving the public, not about serving yourself. So I thank everybody here who had a part in that. I'm not going to try to name all of you because I would definitely forget some and then I'd be in trouble. But you know who you are, and you know what you did to work with all of us in order to bring a day like today to fruition. And I want to thank George for his willingness to do that. I remember soon after I was elected governor in 2009, I came down here to meet with George. I don't know that we had ever met before, maybe once in passing, but it was the first time we ever sat and spoke to each other. And over lunch, we made a commitment to each other that our job over the next number of years, however long I had to serve, was going to be to put touchdowns in the end zone, not to be standing on the sidelines yelling about what we don't like. And the reason today is happening is because he kept that commitment to me, both when it was easy to do it and when it was really, really hard to do it. And I've kept that commitment to him. And what governors do when we're at our best in this state is we build on the successes of our predecessors. And I'm proud to see that Governor Murphy has built on those and enhanced those going forward in his first 4 years as governor. And I'm confident that he'll continue to do that in his next 4 years as governor as well. That's what the product is of putting the public before yourself. The 8 years I spent as governor were an extraordinary honor and privilege, and I am honored and privileged to be here today amongst friends. Thank you all very much, and congratulations.
Thank you, Governor. I'm Anthony Mazzarelli, the other co-CEO here at Cooper University Healthcare. Welcome. I have the honor of introducing our remaining guests. One of Cooper's longtime supporters, Kelly Ripa, wanted to be here with us today, but due to an unplanned family event, she was unable to join us. But she did record a video this morning for us to share with you. Kelly Ripa is a Camden County native and no stranger to us here at Cooper. In fact, her father, Joe, and George's father were colleagues and friends, and the families have remained close. For many years, Kelly has graciously supported and helped promote Cooper. Their family name is proudly displayed on our Ripa Women's Center and our Wellness Center in Voorhees and our newly opened center in Haddonfield. You've seen her on daytime television, in film, and as the popular host of the morning talk show Live with Kelly and Ryan. We appreciate her longtime support, and we're most grateful for this video.
Thank you, Dr. Mazzarelli. And George, I want to thank you for inviting me once again to be part of yet another extraordinary announcement. I'm only regretful that I can't be there in person today, unfortunately. It's also an honor to be joined by Governor Murphy and Governor Christie, who have both done so much to support South Jersey, Camden, and Cooper. Hello, Cooper University Healthcare and Camden. Having grown up around the corner in Berlin and graduated from Eastern Regional High School in Voorhees, I know one thing about the people in this city and the county of Camden. We like to dream big, don't we? In fact, it's around this time of year that we start dreaming about Super Bowls. George, am I right? Go Eagles. And we imagine how our Camden High School basketball superstars are going to soar in the future. My parents, Essie and Joe Ripa, your Camden County clerk, by the way, met right here at Cooper in this hospital. And they taught my sister and me to dream big. They gave us the gift of imagining a great future. You know who else likes to imagine big things? That's right, George Norcross. Just look at the astounding progress in the city of Camden and Cooper University Hospital. Today, he's proving that he isn't slowing down. He's dreaming bigger than ever. Now we have the opportunity to imagine how a $2 billion expansion for Cooper University Healthcare and MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper will change things for the better. Let's just step back a moment. Back in 2008, we all gathered to open the Roberts Pavilion behind you all. We dreamed big that day, and we exceeded our dreams. We spoke about how the new building would improve Cooper and impact the community, and it's had an amazing impact. Today, just imagine there are 2 million patient visits to Cooper each year. But it doesn't stop there. Today, South Jersey residents have access to the region's leading cancer center through MD Anderson Cancer Center at Cooper. This center has cutting-edge technology, life-saving research, and as well as specialists who work as a team to provide you with compassionate care, because here, no one fights cancer alone. We're also educating the next generation of medical professionals at Cooper Medical School of Rowan University, which opened in 2012. Yes, Cooper has been transformed into a leading academic health system in the region. We exceeded our dreams. Who would have thought back then that Cooper would be in the position to invest $2 billion to expand its reach and continue the revitalization of Camden? Yet here we are today. And it is time, once again, to imagine. You know, there's real power in imagining great things in the future. You never know where your dreams will take you. So, George, we thank you for the gift of encouraging us to dream big. Let's remember today that this announcement is not just about a $2 billion expansion. These beautiful buildings are just a representation of the dedication, commitment, and compassion of the Cooper team who serve, heal, and educate the people of this region. We are so grateful for the amazing work done by the professionals here at Cooper. Your courage and commitment throughout the pandemic has been inspiring. Don't think I haven't forgotten about our cake and dance party. We thank you for what you did for all these past few years, and for what you do each and every day. It's truly an honor for me and my family to be associated with Cooper. Literally with Cooper, literally without Cooper, I would not be here today. Think about that. I want to thank all of you for adopting me into the Cooper family. And I want to thank you, George, for inviting me here today. And thank you for all of you for letting me dream about a future so big with you. It's that time again for us to dream big and to imagine. Let's all imagine. Thank you.
Next, we're privileged to welcome Congressman Donald Norcross. Also born and raised in South Jersey, the Congressman is a longtime champion of Camden and friend of Cooper. He lives right here in Camden and has represented New Jersey's 1st congressional district since 2014. During his years as a New Jersey state senator, Congressman Norcross authored the Urban Hope Act, which paved the way for Renaissance schools in New Jersey, an initiative that vastly improved education in Camden and the state. He also was a leading advocate for the transformation of the Camden Metro Police Department. Since the department's inception, crime has decreased significantly, and the department is recognized as an exemplary model of community policing nationally. A tireless champion for Camden, South Jersey, and Cooper, as always, we're pleased to have him here with us today. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Donald Norcross.
Dr. Maz, thank you so much. Wow, it's good to be here. 2 governors, and I can say we would not be here today if it wasn't for their commitment. You heard them talk about the values that they have, how important it is for every man, woman, child to have the same opportunities in this city that you do in any other zip code. You know, and both of them have, I will give you the 4th item. Politics, especially as we're getting into October, gets a little crazy, and everybody fights hard. But after they were sworn in, they put their hand on the Bible. It's about serving the people, and that's something both of them have done extremely well. Thank you for what you've done. As watching Kelly speak, the values. Her dad and I worked together back when I was involved in the labor movement, and at his union hall over on Mount Ephraim Avenue. If you ever stopped in when her soap opera came on, office shut down, he pulled out the TV, and you had to watch. Joe grew up right here on Royden Street, just 3 blocks from here. Those are the values. Everybody always believes in Camden. It was those outside of Camden who now believe the same thing we do. To my mayor, the other Vic, as they say, thank you so much for what you've done. The legacy that Dana read, a Dallas fan, just by the way, he's not the only one. Go Birds. But to the Board of Trustees, my father, when I was a young man, served on this. It was the first time that a hospital in this region looked to the community and to labor to bring their voices onto the board. My brother George continues that, and I hear how he wakes up at 4:30. Well, I can attest That didn't happen when he was a little bit younger. He had a tough time getting moving in the morning as we grew up. But all the great things you heard today are certainly true. But I do want to take a moment. It was a tough couple years. We lost friends. We lost loved ones. If it wasn't for Cooper University Hospital and what they did, the doctors, the nurses, the support staff, the technicians, literally helping people to live. But in many cases, they were last hand holding as somebody passed because their family couldn't be there. They deserve a round of applause. Another historic investment, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger. That's incredibly important because first and foremost, coming from the building trades, we like to build things. But this is about health care. Making sure that no matter what zip code you're in, you have access. The very things that Cooper did during the pandemic. If you couldn't get here, they went out into the communities to make sure that people felt safe, that they could deliver that incredibly important life-saving health care. My dad grew up right here in Camden. In fact, I lived in the building where he got his first job, RCA. Incredibly important because that city invincible is something that we all understand. But now we're seeing the evidence continue with the greatest health care in the region. You know, since I've been involved, it's been about a job. It's about educational opportunities and security. Well, when it comes to healthcare, we've seen what we have done. Where we were before and where we are now. It's an incredibly difficult time, but it is so good to see that the rest of the world is catching up. We got so many interviews when community policing became a word that not just here in Camden, but the rest of the world was hearing it. And how we led the way from the reputation of warriors, us against them, and now it's we coming together. Well, the jobs, $2 billion is a lot of work. To my friends in the building trades who will be able to go home and take care of their family, I just want to share a quick story. Living down at the Victor, I was walking into the apartment building and I heard a guy yell, "Hey, Norcross!" Never know quite what you're going to get. Guy runs over and just gives me a big hug. He goes, "I want to thank you. You've changed my life." I'm with the carpenters now. I got a chance of one of those pre-apprentices. My life will never be the same. And I wanted to thank you. And it wasn't about me. It was about providing opportunities as he got into his BMW. Life changed. And he's sticking with Camden because he knows that's the place to be. And of course, the Urban Hope Act. Many ways for education, but by any measurement, Camden was not known for quality education. But what's changed? Graduation rates up 20%, dropout rates down 50%. Everybody working together. Secretary of Education Cardona was here yesterday. We went over to Camden High School. We were fighting that fight to have it built. I remember touring it as a state senator, and I walked by one of those iconic hallways, and there's a water fountain with yellow tape across it. Lead in the pipes. They had not drank out of those fountains in years. Now, with this new school, not only can they drink out of those fountains, we see what New Jersey believes. To make investments in Camden City pays dividends. That's the change that we're seeing. So whether it was President Obama, Secretary of Education, Secretary Fudge of HUD to announce one of those multi-million-dollar projects, the Secretary of Labor, Marty Walsh, making sure that the investment, no matter what you want to do, if you want to go to a great university like Rutgers or Rowan, or yes, you want to become an electrician, opportunities are there for everyone. You have the opportunity to have the greatest health care, education that will take you wherever you want to go, and a secure environment that everybody comes together. And it was because of a team at every level of government, from the federal, the state, our state senator, our assembly people, then freeholders, now commissioner, the city council, and yes, the mayor, coming together, working together, putting aside that red-blue crap that you see, and serving the people. That's why we're here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. We appreciate you taking the time here on this important day. Finally, it's my honor to introduce our final speaker. But we do have a special unveiling after our final speaker. But to introduce the mayor of the great city of Camden, Mayor Vic Karstafen. He's... You don't even let me give you the introduction, they like you that much. He's one of the most decorated basketball players in Camden High history, and that's saying something. Mayor Karstafen has been dedicated to the city of Camden, serving with a number of community nonprofit organizations and the Camden City Council. He's been a champion of the youth in Camden for many years and has served as a coach to the Camden High boys basketball team for 6 seasons. He's now energetically leading Camden's Rising. I am pleased to welcome Camden Mayor Vic Karstafen.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Maz. Well, I know you said unveiling is going to be, and after that basketball thing, I know it's not going to be my jersey, my high school jersey. I'm going to second great Congressman when he said, wow. But I'm going to say it backwards. Wow. What a tremendous, day, an incredible day for Cooper University Healthcare in the city of Camden and the future of healthcare throughout this region. The city of Camden is proud to be the home to Cooper and the Eds and Meds community that continues to define a new identity for our great city. I have a saying that I say in the community, keep pushing. And we are all pushing together for Camden to be better and greater every day. Camden is getting better every day because of the hard work and determination and the dedication. It's been a result of cooperation and strong partnerships. We're talking about partnerships from residents, government, businesses, nonprofits, Eds and Meds, and Cooper Hospital. We're all pushing together to improve the quality of life of our residents in this great city. My administration prides itself on working in partnerships with our Governor Murphy, the New Jersey legislature, the state, the county, and local community stakeholders, all for the betterment of our city. So I'd like to thank some of our key partners and special guests. Some have been thanked earlier, but I'm a big believer of giving thanks and giving claps for those who do tremendous and great things. As we mentioned before, Governor Murphy, thank you for coming down today, and thank you for all that you do. I can honestly say it's been about 1.5 years for me. And every time you come down, smiles on my face, and I'm going like this because I know some good things are coming for the city, so thank you. Our former governor, Chris Christie, thank you. I can't say enough about the foundation, the stage you set with our former mayor, Dana Red, ironically 2 Dallas fans. But you make it easy for me as a mayor to keep that plane going, to keep that energy going, to stand on the shoulders as they say, as my old folks say, you stand on the shoulders of those before you. So thank you all. Our U.S. Congressman, I like to call Camden's Congressman, Congressman Donald Norcross, thank you for all that you do in advocating for our great city continuously, so thank you. Our 5th District, I see our senator out there, Senator Nilsa Cruz Perez. Assemblyman Bill Moen, Bill Spearman. Our county commissioners, Lou Capelli, Jeff Nash, Dr. Ed McDonald, Melinda Kane, John Young, Al Dyer, and Commissioner Veterans, thank you all. And a special thanks to our City Council President, Angel Fuentes, our Vice President, Sheila Davis, and all our council members that work hard every day to make our city a great city. For everybody that knows, this is what I call Team Camden. This is the makeup of Team Camden. Great teammates, but the best teammate, the most teammate of them all, I'm about to thank, and that's George Norcross. Chairman of the Board of Trustees for Cooper University Healthcare System and Cooper University Hospital. Chairman Norcross has been the greatest advocate, and for decades he's been heading the way for our city's rebirth. I'm a team guy, sports guy. And when you're part of teams, you have leaders. You got your quarterback, your Tom Brady's, you got your great players like your Michael Jordans who set the pace. They set the pace, so every day you come to practice, you want to raise your level, raise your game. George Norcross, every day, he allows us to have to raise our game because he wants the city of Camden to be great. He wants Cooper University Healthcare to be great. He wants Cooper Hospital to be great. Cooper has experienced tremendous growth, built new and expanded state-of-the-art facilities, and attracted top doctors, nurses, and specialists, and is widely regarded in this region as the finest healthcare provider. I can't say enough about the outstanding partner Cooper University Healthcare has been to the city of Camden for more than 135 years. Let me say that again. 135 years dedicated to our community, remaining here through good times and bad times. That's what you call leadership. That's what you call good partnership. And that's what you call an institution who cares about where they're at. Not just investing in brick and mortars, investing in what I call and what I talk about every day. The biggest investment of them all, investing in people. And I see it every day. I saw it last year during the pandemic as we walked across the city, knocking on doors in partnership, trying to raise the vaccination rate in the city. They called me crazy, carrying the bullhorn across the city. But when you have good partners, when you know you have great leadership, you do crazy things because you believe in the city and believe in the mission of what this city is going to be. So congratulations today. It's an incredible announcement. I can't say enough about this announcement. I batted 6 today with some heavy hitters today. So I'm kind of like trying to get a dribble single just to continue pushing players around to home plate. So thank you. It's a historical milestone, a legacy, a partnership that's going to continue to exist. Let's hope for another 135 years as Camden continues to keep moving. As our great mayor used to say, let's keep the plane flying high. Thank you all for today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And finally, we're honored to unveil today a special piece of art created by nationally known Camden artist William Butler. His work is on display in businesses, nonprofits, churches, and other public spaces throughout the region and the country. Among his many outstanding works is a painting for President Barack Obama commemorating his visit to the city of Camden. He also had artwork commissioned by New Jersey's own John Bon Jovi. William created this piece to pay homage to Cooper's 135-year history and to commemorate today's expansion announcement. This piece will be auctioned off at the Cooper Foundation's Red Hot Gala on Friday, September 30th. So, Mr. Butler? So we want to thank everybody who came today. I want to thank all of our guest speakers. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We invite everyone to stay as this concludes our program and enjoy some refreshments. Thank you for coming and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.